YAH. Please fill me with the Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua the Mashiach's name, amen. Start off with the Shema, listen and obey. Children of Yahweh, pay careful attention and respond. Yahweh is our power and authority. Yahweh works in unity with himself. And you shall act upon your love to Yahweh, your power and authority, your thoughts and mine, with your entire body, with all the muchness that you have. Amen. Today we're going to read Ezekiel 36 and 37. Now you, human being, prophesy to the mountains of Israel. Say, mountains of Israel, hear the message from Yahweh. Yahweh Elohim says, the enemy is boasting over you. Ha! Even the ancient high places are ours now. Therefore prophesy and say that Yahweh Elohim says, because they desolated you and swallowed you up from every side, so that the other nations could take possession of you. And now people are gossiping about you and slandering you. Therefore, mountains of Israel, hear the message of Yahweh Elohim. That is what Yahweh Elohim says to the mountains and hills, the streams and the valleys, and the desolate wastes, and the abandoned cities, now preyed on and derided by the other surrounding nations. Therefore, this is what Yahweh Elohim says. In the heat of my jealousy, I speak against the other nations and all of Edom, since, rejoicing with all their heart, they have arrogated my land to themselves as a possession, and with utter contempt seized it as a prey. Therefore prophesy concerning the land of Israel, and say to the mountains, the hills, the streams, and the valleys, that Yahweh Elohim says this: I speak in my jealousy and fury, because you have endured being shamed by the nations. Therefore thus says Yahweh Elohim, I have raised my hand and sworn that the nations surrounding you will bear their shame. But you, mountains of Israel, you will sprout your branches and bear fruit for my people Israel, who will soon return. I am here for you, and I will turn toward you. Then you will be tilled and sown. I will multiply your population, all the house of Israel, all of it. The cities will be inhabited, and the ruins rebuilt. I will multiply both the human and animal populations. They will increase and be productive, and I will cause you to be inhabited as you were before. Indeed, I will do you more good than before, and you will know that I am Yahweh. I will cause people to walk on you, my people Israel. They will possess it, and you will be their inheritance. Never again will you make them childless. Yahweh Elohim says, because they say to you, land, you devour people and make your nations childless. Therefore you will no longer devour people. You will not make your nation childless anymore, says Yahweh Elohim. I will not permit the nations to shame you, or the peoples to reproach you any longer. You will no longer call nations to stumble, says Yahweh Elohim. The word of Yahweh came to me. Human being, when the house of Israel lived in their own land, they defiled it by their manner of life and their actions. Their way before me was like the uncleanliness of Nidah. Therefore I poured out my fury on them, because of the blood they had shed in the land, because they defiled it with their idols. I scattered them among the nations and dispersed them throughout the countries. I judged them in the keeping of their manner and of life and actions. When they came out to the nations they profaned my holy name, so that people said to them, those are Yahweh's people, who have been exiled from his land. I am concerned about my holy name, which the house of Israel is profaning among the nations where they have gone. Therefore, tell the house of Israel that Yahweh Elohim says this: I am not going to do this for your sake, house of Israel, but for the sake of my holy name, which you have been profaning among the nations where you went. I will set apart my great name to be regarded as holy. Since it has been profaned in the nations, you profane it among them. The nations will know that I am Yahweh, says Yahweh Elohim. Then, when before their eyes I am set apart through you to be regardless as holy. For I will take you from among the nations, gather you from the countries, and return you from the soil. Then I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you will be clean. I will cleanse you from all uncleanliness, and from all your idols. I will give you a new heart, and put a new spirit inside of you. I will take the stony heart out of your flesh, and give you a heart of flesh. I will put my spirit inside you, and cause you to live by my laws, respect my rulings, and obey them. You will live in the land I gave to your ancestors. You will be my people, and I will be your God. I will save you from all your uncleanliness. I will summon the grain and increase it, and not send famine against you. I will multiply the yield of your fruit from the trees, and increase production in the fields, so that you never again suffer the reproach of famine among the nations. Then you will remember your evil ways and your actions that are not good. As you look at yourselves, you will loathe yourselves for your guilt and disgusting practices. Understand, says Yahweh Elohim, that I'm not going to do this for your sake. Instead, be ashamed and dismayed for your ways, house of Israel. Yahweh Elohim says, when the day comes for me to cleanse you from all your guilt, I will cause the cities to be inhabited and the ruins to be rebuilt. The land that was desolate will be tilled, whereas formerly it lay desolate for all passing by to see. Then they will say, the land used to be desolate, has become like Gan Eden, and the cities formerly ruined, abandoned, and wasted have become fortified and are inhabited. Then the nations around you will know that I, Yahweh, have rebuilt the ruins and replanted what was abandoned. I, Yahweh, have spoken, and I will do it. Yahweh Elohim says, in addition, I will let the house of Israel pray to me, to do this for them, to increase their number like sheep, like flocks of sheep for sacrifices, like the flocks of sheep in Jerusalem, at its designated times. In this decree will the ruined cities be filled. In this decree will the ruined cities be filled with flocks of people. Then they will know that I am Yahweh. With the hand of Yahweh upon me, Yahweh carried me out by his spirit and set me down in the middle of the valley, and it was full of dry bones. He had me pass by them all around. There were so many bones lying on the valley. They were so dry. He asked me, human being, can these bones live? I answered, Yahweh Elohim, only you know that. Then he said to me, prophesy over these bones. Say to them, dry bones, hear what Yahweh has to say. To these bones Yahweh Elohim says, I will make breath enter you, and you will live. I will attach ligaments to you, make flesh grow on you, cover you with the skin, and put breath in you. You will live, and you will know that I am Yahweh. So I prophesied as ordered. And while I was prophesying, there was a noise, a rattling sound. It was the bones coming together, each bone in its proper place. As I watched, ligaments grew on them, flesh appeared, and skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. Next he said to me, prophesy to the breath. Prophesy, human being. Say to the breath that Yahweh Elohim says, come from the four winds, breath, and breathe on these slain, so they can live. So I prophesied as ordered, and the breath came into them, and they were alive. They stood on their feet, a huge army. Then he said to me, "Human being, these bones are the whole house of Israel, and they are saying, 'Our bones have dried up, our hope is gone, and we are completely cut off.' Therefore prophesy, say to them that Yahweh Elohim says, 'My people, I will open your graves and make you get out of your graves, and I will bring you into the land of Israel. Then you will know that I am Yahweh, when I have opened your graves and made you get out of your graves, my people. I will put my spirit in you, and you will be alive. Then I will place you in your own land, and you will know that I am Yahweh, have spoken, that I have done it, says Yahweh. The word of Yahweh came to me, 'You, human being, take one stick and write on it, for Yehudah and those joined with him among the people of Israel.' Next, take a stick and write on it, for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and all the house of Israel, who are joined with him. Finally, bring them together into a single stick, so that they may become in one in your hand. When your people ask you what all this means, tell them that Yahweh Elohim says this: I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, together with the tribes of Israel who are joined with him, and put them together with the stick of Yehudah and make them a single stick, so that they become one in my hand. The sticks on which you write are to be in your hand as they watch. Then say to them that Yahweh Elohim says, I will take the people of Israel from them among the nations where they have gone, and gather them from every side and bring them back to their own land. I will make them one nation in the land, on the mountains of Israel. One king will be king for them all. There will be no longer two nations, and they will never again be divided into two kingdoms. They will never again defile themselves with idols, their detestable things, or any of their transgressions, but I will save them from all the places where they have been living and sinning. And I will cleanse them, so that they will be my people, and I will be their God. My servant David will be king over them, and all of them will have one shepherd. They will live by my king's rulings and keep and observe my regulations. They will live in the land I gave to Yaakov my servant. Where your ancestors live, they will live there. They, their children, and their grandchildren forever. And David my servant will be their leader forever. And I will make a covenant of peace with them, an everlasting covenant. I will give to them, increase their number, and set my sanctuary among them forever. My home will be with them. I will be their God, and they will be my people. The nation will know that I am Yahweh, who sets apart Israel, apart as holy. My sanctuary is with them forever. What can we learn after reading Ezekiel 36 and 37? We can prophesy the message of Yah. Know that Yahweh is the creator and maker of all. Live in obedience to Yahweh's commands. Remember, Yahweh's name is holy, set apart. Keep it that way. Know that he is Yahweh. Trust that Yahweh will give you a new heart made of flesh. Take out your stony heart. Ask Yahweh to do this for you. Ask Yahweh to put his spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, inside you, which will cause you to live by his laws, respect his rulings, and obey them. Pray to Yahweh to do these things for you, so that we will know that he is Yahweh. Live by Yah's rulings and observe Yah's regulations. Know that he is our creator. He is Yahweh. How can we love others? Teach them this great truth found in Ezekiel. Produce spiritual fruit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, humility, and self-control. And how can we bear one another's burdens? We can spend quality time with them giving others your presence. I have had a very restful day in doing what I love to do on Shabbat: disciple, have a great meal, fellowship, rest, great rest. I pray that you spend your Sabbath the same way, in getting great rest and doing what you believe God's will is for your life. End with the Aaronic blessing, because it's awesome. Yahweh will kneel before you presenting gifts, and he will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yahweh will illuminate the wholeness of his being toward you, bringing order, and he will provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yahweh will lift up the wholeness of his being and look upon you, and will set in place all you need to be whole and complete. Amen. I know I want to be whole and complete. I know I want to have the Ruach HaKodesh inside of me, filling me, the set-apart breath, that breath that made those dry bones come to life, that breath that was breathed into Adam when he was created, that same breath that came down from heaven when Yeshua the Mashiach went up into heaven to sit at the right hand of his Father, Yahweh.